On December 16, 2023, I took the inaugural Maya train trip from Cancun station to the Merida station. This week, I hopped on the Maya train again to give you an update on its progress after 1 year. I've ridden the train from the Palenque station down in Chiapas, Mexico, at the far end of the peninsula, all the way down to the Tulum airport station now, experiencing every open route as of December 12, 2024. And in this video, I'll share with you my tips for booking and planning your trip. I'll share with you what to expect when you arrive at your destinations as far as transportation, and I'll give you my perspective on how far the Maya train has come in this first year. Let's get it. All right, the first step to a successful Maya train trip is buying your tickets. And there are several places or several options you have for buying your tickets. The first is in person. If you're in Merida, you can purchase tickets at the La Plancha EA tram station, which is in the La Plancha Park. That's the station that's closest to Central Merida. So La Plancha Park, there's an EA tram station there, and that's where you can actually take the shuttle from the EA tram station in La Plancha over to the Merida station, which is at Taya. You can purchase your tickets every day there at the La Plancha IE tram station. If you want to purchase those tickets online because you're not yet in Mexico, a couple of key things to know. One is you can go to trainmaya.gov.mx. That is the official website for purchasing tickets. There's an option at the upper right-hand corner where you can switch it from English to Spanish if you need that. There's also a new Tren Maya app that's been out for a few months, and on this trip, I actually used the Tren Maya app to purchase my tickets. And the nice thing about the Tren Maya app is it gives you a digital ticket that you can upload to, like, say, your Apple Wallet, which is where my tickets were stored. I also received a PDF copy via email, which was a very nice thing. So 3 options: in person if you're in Merida at the IE tram station in La Plancha Park, online at the official trainmaya.gov.mx site, or through the Tren Maya app, which you should be able to get anywhere on iPhone or Android. When purchasing your tickets, there has been one really confusing part. There's been some confusion station to station, people purchasing tickets online and being allowed to still ride the train. Well, that's no more. They've standardized the policy across the system, and the only people that can receive a discounted fare are Mexican nationals with an INE card. If you're a Mexican national but you don't have an INE card, you don't receive a discounted fare. If you're a temporary or permanent resident, you don't receive a discounted fare. Now, if you're a tourist, you don't receive a discounted fare. Even if you're a temporary or permanent resident with a senior discount card, you still do not receive a discounted fare. Everyone that is not a Mexican national with an INE card must pay the international tourist rate. Now, there are special rates for Mexican residents with an INE card that are also living inside of the Yucatan Peninsula. So if you're in Chiapas, Tabasco, Yucatan, Campeche, or Quintana Roo, there are discounts available for Mexican nationals that live within that zone with an INE card. I can tell you that every single train that I boarded on this trip, they were checking Mexican residents for INE cards and foreign nationals for passports. Definitely make sure you have some form of ID. You don't want to buy a ticket online, purchase the discounted fare, and not be able to board the train. That's a bad day. So definitely make sure if you're riding to pay the full fare of the tourist price, and if you're not a Mexican national with an INE card. One thing that you should be aware of is that Cancun has, or Quintana Roo has, a different time zone than the rest of the Yucatan Peninsula. So Cancun, Playa del Carmen, the Riviera Maya, all that entire area is 1 hour ahead of Yucatan Peninsula, Campeche, Chiapas, and Tabasco. So that is something very, very important to know when you're making your scheduling for your Maya train. On this trip, I booked my tickets from Merida's Taya station to the Playa del Carmen station, which is as far as I could go. And there's a direct train that goes from Merida to Playa del Carmen. Now, there's still 8 stops involved, and the train does stop in Cancun. And the stop in Cancun is actually fairly long. It's 35 minutes or so. So while it does deliver, the same train takes you from Merida to Playa del Carmen, and I didn't have to switch seats or any of those things, you know, it does stop in Cancun. So I could only get to the Tulum station by changing trains in Playa del Carmen. So I had to go to the Playa del Carmen station, change trains, and go to Tulum on a separate train. just the planning of the schedules, you know, doing a same day trip. My goal was to go from Merida to the Tulum airport station and then return back to Playa del Carmen that night. So just planning all of that was very difficult. And the one thing I will tell you is when you're booking your tickets, you can only do it 7 days in advance. So when you're booking your trip, it only shows you the schedule for 7 days in advance. You can't book past that. So if your trip is 2 weeks out, you're gonna need to wait to book the return part of that trip. Also, just matching the different schedules with what might fit is a little bit tough. So just be aware the train is not running at full capacity in terms there's not all the trains on the tracks yet, but with the scheduling and the scheduling changes often, you need to just kind of be patient and try to mix and match what's gonna work best for you. I will give the scheduling of the train and all of that stuff in terms of being able to schedule the apps, buy your tickets. I will give that process a 4 out of 5 stars simply because, it's still not everything's not fully available and you have to do weird stuff like change in Playa del Carmen to take a different train down to the Tulum airport. Or I could have gone to Cancun and changed over there, but you still have to change trains going in the same direction. So the one thing that is drastically improved from a year ago when I took the train is that the trains were on time, really within the minute. So if it said it was leaving at 7 a.m., it left at 7 a.m. If it said it was leaving at 5:20, it left at 5:20. The only delay that I experienced was like a 3 to 4 minute delay going from Playa del Carmen station to the Tulum airport station. And that was because we did experience a lot of construction. They're still doing a lot of construction on the train between Playa del Carmen station and the Tulum airport station. My return trip to Playa del Carmen station from the Tulum airport station was perfectly on time. And overall, returning to Merida was exactly on time. So the train's reliability is incredible. Like, it is better than a plane. And it gets you there within a minute or two of when it says it's gonna get there. So I will give the actual train schedule and punctuality of the train leaving and arriving. I would give that a 5 for 5 right now, a year later. The reason I only went to the Tulum airport because as of December 12th, that was as far as you can go. That was the farthest route available south of Cancun. And so as of December 15th, the president, Claudia Sheinbaum, has announced that the new section from Tulum Airport down to Bacalar will be open. And in fact, yesterday, as I was riding home on the Maya train, they started selling tickets for that route. I'm excited for that trip. The tickets went on sale and I've yet to visit Bacalar. My wife says it's amazing. So I'm excited to go to Bacalar and actually see what that's all about. And you can go from Cancun to Bacalar. I did look up tickets from Cancun to Bacalar and it said it was gonna take 4 hours, which seems a very long way because I don't think it's that far going. I don't even know if it's that far by car from Merida. So I'm certain that those stations are still going to be under some form of construction because Playa del Carmen was still under construction. The Tulum airport station looked pretty well built out, but I'm certain that the other stations are probably still under construction, just given how when they open something, things are not completely finished. I'm hoping that the overnight train will be operational soon. That is also something that is forthcoming, the being able to take the overnight train and have the sleeper cars. I'm excited about that and I can't wait to take my next experience on the Maya train in that sleeper car. All right, so just general tips on taking the Maya train. Dress warm. The AC on the Maya train works really well. And in the summertime, that's not a bad thing, but like right now it's our winter, the air is a little cool. It's like 70 something degrees. I'm wearing jeans, which is a rare for me, but dress comfortably. You want to be comfortable on the train, so make sure I had on a pullover sweater with a hoodie just to make sure I was comfortable, and I had a hat. So, those are the things, because the air can be blowing right on you and it makes for an uncomfortable ride. The other thing I will say is buy snacks before you get on the train, or bring you something to snack on if you want healthy options. There are convenience stores like Oxos or Go Smarts and some of the train stations that are open, but the snack options are, soft drinks and chips and things of that nature. So definitely, if you want something to eat that's not sandwich or chips or, snack food, that's a little bit more healthier, bring your snacks with you. far as the seating, if you're going for more than 2 hours, you may want to book a premium class seat versus a tourist class seat. There's not a significant difference between the premium and the tourist class seat, but you do get some snacks. You get like coffee and some bread or something. Or on a longer trip, you get like coffee and a sandwich. But I will tell you that, you know, if you're gonna be on the train like I was for like 5 hours yesterday, having the premium class seat made all the difference. And if you can get the seats where the table's in front of you, I actually preferred that. The one caveat to that is, even when there were times where no one purchased the seat with the table in front of me, just be aware that random people may come and sit in those seats. So it does make for a little less leg room because you guys are sharing a table, and you can't stretch out like you would in just a regular seat. So if you want to make sure you can stretch out, there's still a drop down table that happens on the back of the seats. That may be plenty enough for you, and you don't need the full table in front of you. So one of the things that you need to know about the train as a tip is that none of the stations are in the city center. So whether you're going to Chichen Itza, Merida, Valladolid, Cancun Airport, Tulum Airport, Playa del Carmen, wherever you go, Palenque, wherever you go, none of those stations are near the city center. So there's always going to be a last mile option. And that is the area where I think in year 2, the train system can use the biggest improvement. The last options from Playa del Carmen station into the city, there's an audio bus that leaves for 55 pesos. That's ADO. And the audio bus is 55 pesos from the Playa del Carmen station into town. Now, when I came back from the Tulum airport, I opted to take a cab. Now, you have to be really careful with cabs in Quintana Roo. The prices range from 500 to 700 pesos, which I found out earlier in the day. I was able to get a ride from a young lady named Doris, who was a taxi driver. I highly recommend you look for Doris. And she remembered me from earlier, and she gave me a phenomenal rate that was actually less than the 500 pesos. But the typical rate is 500 to 700 pesos. You're flying into Cancun, a couple of things. The couple that I met from Ireland on this trip, you know, there's scams galore in Cancun with transportation. And a lot of people kept telling them, oh, the shuttle's not running, the shuttle's not running, the shuttle's not running. And so finally they finally just decided to take a shuttle, and they end up spending $70 to go from the Cancun airport over to the Maya train station. It is a 15-minute ride. It is definitely not worth $70 US. And you know, there's people who are gonna tell you all kinds of things. Just the shuttle runs, as long as the train is running, the shuttle goes to and from the station. So, and especially in Cancun. So don't worry, it may take 45 minutes before the shuttle gets to you, but there are signage that's marked all over the station. And when in doubt, ask someone with a Maya train uniform if you can find them about whether the train is running. But be careful when flying into Cancun and planning to take the Maya train. Don't pay a taxi driver to take you over to the train station unless you're just really short on time and you've already missed the shuttle. The one thing I will tell you also is, because you have to take this last mile, if you don't catch the free shuttle in Cancun, definitely make sure you get pesos. So if you were coming in and you took the free shuttle to Cancun, but yet you were going to Valladolid or to Merida or some other place, you're gonna need pesos, right? In order to complete the last mile of transportation. So while in Cancun, if you fly into Cancun, I recommend that you get pesos at the airport from the ATM machine, but avoid the dynamic currency conversion charges. And if you don't know what DCC is, or dynamic currency conversion, I'll leave a link to a video above so you can check that out and know all about how to avoid that scam. But definitely make sure you get pesos before you leave the airport. I did not see any ATMs inside of the train station, so definitely make sure you get pesos before you leave. So my final thoughts on the train: it has come a long way in the last year. You can now realize the dream. I think I mentioned this in one of my earlier videos about being able to walk to the IE tram station, take the IE tram over to La Plancha, take the tram from there to Cancun, and then end up in Cozumel on a ferry, right? That dream has been realized. It's possible for me to go from my house to Cozumel in one day without driving and catch a ferry. And I say Cozumel, in order to get to Cozumel, you obviously need to take a ferry in Playa del Carmen, but all of that is possible. The transportation options are there. You just have to pick a certain time, you just have to pick the right schedule at this moment. I'm looking forward to my 10th and 11th trips on the Maya train. Hopefully I'll be able to take the overnight train soon once the system is complete, and I'll try to take it as far as I can. Maybe plan a trip from like Merida all the way around back. That would be outstanding. The strengths of the Maya train are definitely its comfort, its reliability, and its ease of use. It's super easy to use once you get your tickets and scheduling figured out. It's reliable and it's very comfortable. Being able to get up and walk around, walk to the bathroom, go to the snack cart that's in the middle of the train, things like that, makes for a really comfortable trip. The areas I see that it can improve, adding more cars to the train system so that the scheduling is a little bit better. So scheduling would be the second area for improvement, just having more frequent trains. I think they're gonna add up to 8 trains between Merida and Cancun, which is the most popular route. So that would be outstanding because now you have many, many more options. It's really difficult to take the train and catch a flight at this moment unless you leave really early. Hopefully one day the train will be able to kind of compete with the bus and the scheduling on the bus. The thing that really needs to improve is just the last mile transportation, because all of the stations are so far outside of the actual destination. They got to figure out some way to standardize the pricing for cab rides in each location, to publish them so it's not you get what you get based on who you talk to type of scenario. And they need to just make it easier, or at least even on the website they should tell you, when you get to Valladolid, this is how you transfer to the city, or when you get to Playa del Carmen, this is how you transfer to the city. There needs to be some more information about that isn't just folks like myself experiencing it than telling you. I think there should be an official channel. If you want to know more about my previous experiences on the Maya train, check out the playlist over here. And until next time, MexitPlans Monty, I'm out.